And your mom is sitting there face to face with death and asks you, what do you know? The sacredness of the interactions made all of my other behavior seem reckless. I'm somewhere in between being a hungry, vicious liar and being a really fed, well part of a family, community. I don't have a normal job. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm someone who is able to live an extraordinarily abnormal life. I've often thought of shaving the beard, but the thing is I'll be walking down the street and men react to me as though I'm an animal or an alien. Is something about me allowing us to have a conversation? There are people who are trying to be happy and free and useful. There's tremendous greed, violence, delusion, an agenda that clearly isn't for the good of all. We can get more by exploring psychedelics, sexuality, creativity, by exploring our minds rather than exploring the minds of people who built this system that we don't feel a part of. There was this unconscious compliance with what we were supposed to be doing. There isn't the space for consciousness to thrive. We want to be a part of a sustainable system, and we want to sing, dance, we want to make love, we want to make children, we want to be able to sit with our family and friends when they're dying. We want to be able to do the basic things. There is a space for us to be honest, spontaneous, to be a mess, and to find the beauty that comes when one isn't watching themselves. All of these other relationships can be a bit ideal because people come for a weekend, they come for a week, they come for 6 months, and then they leave, And then there's something about when somebody stays, the honesty that she practices with herself is shocking, revolutionary for me.
I knew I wanted yoga in my life in a major way. The idea of a purpose-driven life is huge to me. I felt a kinship with Paul that was very different, large part because of this idea of having a life that is more expansive.
She has been able to basically come into this world of mine and find a new world for herself. I was in New York City studying yoga. I was being spiritual, learning these things, while I knew at the same time my mother was living up here and was drifting kind of further and further off into isolation. There needed to be this time when I didn't think of myself in terms of being her son. I noticed that I had been running in circles, running away from her, running back towards other forms of her denying mother. A few years ago, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and there was this process of 3 months where I was able to have her move in here and be with her. So there was this moment when her and I came together and the relationship was forced. I learned about her body. I learned about her breath. I learned about her history, the details of the horror and the beauty of her life. She left a bunch of her clothes behind here, and I enjoyed wearing them. I think the clothes are a way of accepting what she thought was nice. The clothes are slowly wearing out. In a way, I'm gradually living free from her. In terms of the major evolution of how I've dressed myself is really about the people around me who left their clothes behind. The thing that really inspired me is there was a few pairs of overalls. I started to make these yoga outfits that didn't have a waistband. So I started taking apart these funny yoga shorts and attaching them to tank tops. It was part of what got me started wearing suspenders and overalls and not having the waist restriction. And ask someone to explore their inner world, And at that point when they try to do that, their pants are squeezing them in a way that is like completely disruptive to their internal systems. I think that there's a way for dressing that I think can build bridges between people and also build a bridge between my skin and the rest of the universe. I mean, this is like the frontier. I'm not having like any restriction around my waist. So this whole outfit, it's just touching me on the shoulders. The rest is just the weight of the fabric. And this shirt, I believe, was my mom's. But all of her shirts, you know, they button the other way. There's this thing in yoga where if you do something with one side, you do it with the other. Putting on shirts the opposite way, I think, is extremely important, actually.
I was thinking about how I was like, oh, maybe I'll put on eyeliner today. And then I thought, maybe I should cover this up or that. And then I was thinking about how often we are trying to cover something up about ourselves. And then I was thinking, you know, the other day I had this conversation with my client about my hair being gray. And he was like, I meant to ask you why you did that. And I was like, why I covered my gray. Like, yeah, because you know me, I'm trying to hide everything. And he asked me about that, and I said, well, I mean, in some ways I'm trying to stop running from myself.
In the moments after she left her body, I felt that motherly love existed between every single person. I felt humanity. And all these friends came and stayed here and helped us, helped bear the weight. I mean, they were sitting there in the room, you know, like being able to touch her body after she left it, being able to take care of it and wash it and have it here for as long as until it seemed right. I've been really hoping that the experience would give me a concrete understanding of death. And searching spiritually was that I would find a new solid ground, and then only to find out that that's like the opposite of the process. Some of what we've been given and some of what we have on a daily basis, I mean, we share it with our friends, we share it with anyone who comes here. I think the community around here I think everyone wants to help everyone. I think we both have this deep desire to be helpful. And so it feels like the challenge is to keep building a foundation as a family and as a home, and at the same time build bridges to the people around us.